Welcome back. We're in Art of War by Sun Tzu. Okay. Be stern in the council chamber so that you may control the situation. If the enemy leaves a door open, you must rush in. But he did say that we shouldn't always take the bait. So, forestall your opponent by seizing what he holds dear. Cultural sites. It could be a temple. Could be many things. And subtly contrive to time his arrival on the ground. So basically try to predict when he's going to show up. Walk in the path defined by rule, and accommodate yourself to the enemy until you can fight a decisive battle. Accommodate yourself to the enemy, so adjust yourself to the enemy until you can give the killer blow. At first then exhibit the coyness of a maiden until the enemy gives you an opening. Afterwards, emulate the rapidity, copy the quickness of a running hare, so be as quick and swift as a rabbit, basically. And it will be too late for the enemy to oppose you, so you go in quick, they won't have enough time to set up their defense. Okay, now we're in the section Attack by Fire. Pretty dragon. Sun Tzu said there are 5 ways of attacking with fire. The first is to burn soldiers in their camp. The second is to burn stores. The third is to burn baggage trains. The fourth is to burn arsenals and magazines. The fifth is to hurl dropping fire amongst the enemy. In order to carry out an attack, we must have means available. The material for raising fire should always be kept in readiness. There is a proper season for making attacks with fire and special days for starting conflagration. The proper season is when the weather is very dry, basically so it can catch. If it's raining or it's kind of cold and chilly and there's a breeze, it might not be the best time, right? The special days are those when the moon is in the constellation of the Siev, the Wall, the Wing, or the Crossbar. For these 4 are the days of the rising wind, so the wind will help carry the flame. In attacking with fire, one should be prepared to meet 5 possible developments. When fire breaks out inside the enemy's camp, respond at once with an attack from without. So, as the soldiers coming out, they're freaking out, trying to get water from a river or somewhere nearby, you pick them off. If there is an outbreak of fire, but the enemy's soldiers remain quiet, bide your time and do not attack. So if you attack them with fire and they're not freaking out and coming out, don't go into them yet. Wait till they come out, basically. When the force of the flames has reached its height, follow it up with an attack. If that is practical. If not, stay where you are. So attack when the flames are raging, but not if it's going to actually engulf you as well. If it is possible to make an assault with fire from without, do not wait for it to break out within, but deliver your attack at a favorable moment. When you start a fire, be to the windward of it. Do not attack from the leeward. So if the flame is crouching on this side, you're going to go on this side. You don't want to go on the other side because that flame is going to, lick you as well, as they say. Look at this dude. He's like, I'm going to get you. A wind that rises... Oh, wait a minute. He's like in that position. He can just like slice you up or like slice your horse's head off. A wind that rises in the daytime lasts long, but a night breeze soon falls. So not only when you attack with fire, you should attack during the day when it's the dry season. In every army, the 5 developments connected with fire must be known, the movements of the stars calculated, and a watch kept for the proper days. Hence those of us who use fire as an aid to attack show intelligence. Those who use water as an aid to attack gain an accession of strength. By means of water, the enemy may be intercepted, but not robbed of all his belongings. Yeah, that's a good point. Unhappy is the fate of the one who tries to win his battles and succeed in his attacks without cultivating the spirit of enterprise. To me, the spirit of empire means taking out the resources, finding a way to profit off of it. For the result is a waste of time and general stagnation. Hence the saying, the enlightened ruler lays his plans well ahead. The good general cultivates his resources. Move not unless you see an advantage. Use not your troops unless they are something to be gained. There is something to be gained. Fight not unless the position is critical. So basically, don't fight unless you have something to gain, or you're fighting for your life. No ruler should put troops into the field merely to gratify his own spleen. No general should fight a battle simply out of pique. If it is to your advantage, make a forward move. If not, stay where you are. Anger may in time change to gladness. Vexation may be succeeded by content. But a kingdom that has once been destroyed can never come again into being. Think about that. We will rebuild. Yeah, but then there comes the point of King's Landing. When you change the wheel, you change the wheel. Hence, the enlightened ruler is heedful, so listens to advice. Listens to his counselors, but also maintains control of the council chamber. And the good general, full of caution, so he's not just like, get them all, get them everywhere, rah! No, he's like, okay, we gotta be careful here, we gotta use strategy. What's the weather like? What's the mood of the soldiers? Is everything intact? Let's take the caution, let's scout the scene out. This is the way to keep a country at peace and an army intact. Okay, we're in the new section called the use of spies. Look at that dude. He's got a bunch of tigers around him, because tigers spy before they eat you. Sun Tzu said, raising a host of 100,000 men and marching them great distances entails heavy losses on the people and a drain on the resources of the state. The daily expenditure will amount to 1,000 ounces of silver. There will be commotion at home and abroad, and men will drop down exhausted on the highways. As many as 700,000 families will be impeded in their labor. Hostile armies may face each other for years, striving for the victory which is decided in a single day. This being so, to remain in ignorance of the enemy's condition simply because one grudges the outlay of 100 ounces of silver in honors and amulets is the height of inhumanity. Okay. Remain in ignorance. That one I didn't understand really well. One who acts thus is no leader of men, no present help to his sovereign, no master of victory. Thus, what enables the wise sovereign and the good general to strike and conquer and achieve things beyond the reach of ordinary men is foreknowledge. Now, this foreknowledge cannot be elicited from spirits, it cannot be obtained inductively from experience, nor by deductive calculation. Knowledge of the enemy's disposition can only be obtained from other men. Hence the use of spies, of whom there are 5 classes. It was interesting as many of us didn't even think of spies in that way. We were like, what? A spy is a spy. No, there's different categories. Local spies, inward spies, converted spies, doomed spies, surviving spies. When these 5 kinds of spy are all at work, none can discover the secret system. This is called divine manipulation of the threads. It is the sovereign's most precious faculty. Having local spies means employing the services of the inhabitants of a district. Having inward spies, making use of officials of the enemy. Having converted spies, getting hold of the enemy spies and using them for your own purpose. Whoa, look at this. It's a cool hat. It's a cool feather. Having doomed spies, doing certain things openly for purposes of deception and allowing our spies to know of them and to report them to the enemy. That seems very tricky right there. Surviving spies, finally, are those who bring back news from the enemy's camp. Oh. Hence, it is that with none in the whole army are more intimate relations to be maintained than with spies. The master of whisperers, the little birds. None should be more liberally rewarded. In no other business should be greater secrecy be preserved. Spies cannot be usefully employed without a certain intuitive sagacity. They cannot be properly managed without benevolence and straightforwardness. Without subtle ingenuity of mind, one cannot make certain of the truth of their reports. You have to have a subtle and intuitive and ingenious mind. Be subtle, and your spies for every kind of business. If a secret piece of news is divulged by a spy before the time is ripe, he must be put to death together with the man to whom the secret was told. Executing the spies. Whether the object to be crushed an army, to storm a city, or to assassinate an individual, it is always necessary to begin by finding out the names of the attendants, the aides de camp. Wow. The doorkeepers and sentries of the general in command. So you got to find out who everyone is on the team, or the council. Our spies must be commissioned to ascertain these. So the spies have to get that info for you. The enemy spies who have come to spy on us must be sought out, tempted with bribes, led away, and comfortably housed. Thus they will become converted spies and available for our service. Wow. That's dark. It is owing to this information, again, that we can cause the doomed spy to carry false tidings to the enemy. Having a spy give false reports, man, that's crazy. Lastly, it is by this information that the surviving spy can be used on appointed occasions. The end and aim of spying in all its 5 varieties is knowledge of the enemy. And this knowledge can only be derived in the first instance from the converted spy. Wow. Who knew, you know? I mean, you think of spies, I always think of like James Bond or somebody. Or I don't even know if he was a spy, but I always think of like Archer or somebody. But back in these days, spies must have really been very valuable. Hence, it is essential that the converted spy be treated with the utmost liberality. Of old, the rise of the Yin dynasty was due to Ai Qi, who had served under the Hsia. Likewise, the rise of Chao dynasty was due to Liu Ya, who served under the Yin. Hence, it is only the enlightened ruler and the wise general who will use the highest intelligence of the army for purposes of spying, and thereby they achieve their great results. Spies are a most important element in water because on them depends an army's ability to move. Wow. We finished it, family. We finished the whole thing. Nice. It was a really cool book. Learn a lot. It doesn't just apply to war. It can be applied to the workplace, can be applied to all types of situations, right? Wow. We got strategies, spies, the terrain, the mood of the soldiers. Wow. Very cool. Alright, we finished it. Congrats, family.